Hello, everyone. Welcome to a series of shows on AI every week. We do what is called an AI Roundtable, which gives you an overview of all the events that happen in the world of AI. So today we have a bunch of topics, including uh, AI agents and DeepSeek and AlphaFold and a bunch of other news. So who would want to start?
Yeah,
So
so welcome back everyone for the another week of news of AI and the wrap up of 2024 and what all events and other technologies that were brought up in 2024. So to begin with, I'll share my screen. I guess my screen is visible, right?
yes.
Yeah. So yes, this is the 2024 AI recap, uh, where we have come up with several topics, starting from DeepSeek V3, building effective agents, AlphaFold, Run AI, acquisition of Run AI, that's in Orin Nano Super version, VEO2, Google's VEO2, and Google's Imagen 3, and Bolt's 1, biomolecular integrating interaction modeling. So the DeepSeek V3. I guess Kiran would go ahead with this.
Yeah, so DeepSeek. So this is like a competitor or an alternative to ChatGPT. And unlike ChatGPT, this is completely free. You don't have to buy their free or plus versions. Can you go to the next slide?
Yep.
The interesting thing about this is apart from the CEO, he's actually a hedge fund CEO. So this guy started this in 2023. That's like a year ago. And now their performance metrics is equal or in some cases better than ChatGPT 4.0. And all of this is open source. You can essentially, if you want to, you can just you run it yourself. But yeah. Also coming to the more important point, the cost of building this model was 5.5 million or 6 million approximately. To give you a retrospective of how low that is, Chat GPT, I think it was around 20. I'm not sure. Sir, can you?
Yeah. So I think just to give you a heads up, like ChatGPT overall raised about close to 14 to 20 billion. If you include the cloud costs and the cloud credits that they received, they raised 1 billion sometime in 2017, 2018, and then they got in 2019 they got about 14 billion worth of cloud credits from uh, Azure from Microsoft. So if you think about the amount of compute that went in OpenAI, which was billions, compared to what these people have done, which is replicating OpenAI with code which is open sourced at around 6 million. So in terms of scale, at this point, this made news last week on CNBC, and it was featured in lots of news stories. That is the context in terms of cost. So so just to give you a context, in the larger sense, it's almost like a thousand, 500 times decrease in cost. I don't know whether all the results are as good as what, let's say, the O3 model or O1 model of OpenAI is. But at least at this point, somebody has ventured out and figured out a way to do it for in an open source manner at a cost which is quite minimal.
So
And
the
to add on
interesting,
with the technological, like the architecture terms and all, this DeepSeek V3 comparative to the Llama model and Gemini GPT, this was trained with the 671 billion parameters per token. And for per token, when the input is given, 37 billion parameters will be activated. So while we give the prompt for any language models, it is calculated based on the number of tokens. So in the transformer models which we see, the input is always divided into tokens. So here also per input token, it's divided per there are 37 billion parameters getting activated, and it
Yeah.
is way faster than the other models in comparison.
I think if
Okay.
you go to the next side with the performance metric, you'll get the
Yep.
gist of how good it is. So as you can see, we discussed GPQI Diamond and AIME 2024 last week. So you can see that the light yellow one is GPT 4.0, and it is better than that. Also, you can see that Claude is the best, but when you compare it with the cost, DeepSeek is like the more optimal one. There's a good balance between performance and cost.
So
So that's where
just so that we understand this, so these DeepSeek is the first bar, second is it's in order, right? DeepSeek
yeah,
2,
yeah,
2.5, it's in order. And then in each one of these performances, Math 500 is again, I think, a math problem set. AIM is also a math problem set from that we covered sort of last week. Code forces are what comparative programmers use to rank themselves globally. And does it give ranking? So it gives performance out of 100 as an index. And soft SWE bench verified, if can someone can throw light
yeah.
as to what that is.
It's just sort of like code forces in the sense that it is also for software development. This is just for competitive programming, but this is specifically for how good it ranks in comparison to a software engineer or something like that.
So so what we're basically saying is uh chat G okay, so it's better than chat GPT 4.0, right?
Yeah,
Let's take this code forces, for example, something that competitive program, a lot of other, let's say, viewers who are software engineers would understand. So OpenAI ChatGPT 4.0, which is $20 a month, performs at 20.3 index out of 100. And no, that's Claude. 23.6 is the
yeah,
code forces score for ChatGPT 4.40, which is $20 a month. And this is a free version, which is open source, which gives a performance of 51.6. Is that
yeah.
fair?
Also,
Okay.
GPT 4.0 is free, just like you'll have limited access to it. Like you can't ask unlimited questions or
Yeah,
something. There's a cap
but
on how
this is
much
free.
data you can use. Yeah, this is free. This is completely free.
This is open source.
Yeah,
Yeah. And right now, initially, OpenAI also was giving unlimited queries. Right now, they've restricted to how many queries? The free version, I think it's 10 per day.
No, like that is for but the files which we upload and perform, and those are restricted to one or two. But apart from that, the interaction is open source only for selected models. Like if we want to go with the O1 and O1 Pro models, we have to go for the
yeah,
premium ones.
If
yeah.
the
So
query is
some
attached
further.
with a file or a folder, so for that purpose, the queries are limited to one or two per day in the ChatGPT free version. So there's no specific limit for the queries which doesn't have any attachments or anything like that. Yeah,
Oh,
Kiran,
but
continue.
in my free version, opened on my browser, it stops me after some queries and says you're not allowed to access it for another 6 hours or 8 hours. And then
Yeah,
I have to access it again. So, but I'm assuming I'm using a different model, which is costlier, I guess,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah,
So
that
the
also
particular,
happens on the plus version. Just that the limit is a bit more.
yeah, and that
Good.
block is also will be only for that particular chat window, for that particular chat folder. That's all. If you open a new chat and you can again uh, ask the simple queries without any attachments or something like that.
Got it.
Yes.
Got it. So, I mean, is this open source? As in, like, have they put the code on any of the platforms?
Yeah,
Uh,
it's there on GitHub. I think if you go to their website, you can check
yes,
it out.
the code is available on the GitHub, and the website is also accessible. It's an open source.
And how do we make sense of the graph on the right?
On the right, yeah, this is like performance versus cost.
Oh,
So to get essentially it is that.
so
So you
meaning,
can see,
let me understand this. So this is like on the x-axis, there is a score from 0 to 10. Y-axis, there's a score from 78 to 90. So performance to price ratio, optimum range. Okay. So for every 10 unit of performance or something like that, or your chain, it's giving like corresponding cost in terms of, I think y-axis is cost, right? Y-axis is performance, API price. Well, I think this we need to understand it a little better. But for now, it's essentially representing what's there on the left side of the graph on the right, saying that per unit query cost is better. Okay,
Yeah.
makes sense. Anything
So
else you guys want to add on this?
yeah, you can
Yeah,
see
the
Claude is
competitor.
better.
Yeah.
Claude is almost same, but the computation cost is like significantly higher than what DeepSeek is claiming. So I think that is what stands out for it.
Claude has a bunch of things. I was looking at Claude at the bottom, Claude 3.5. HiQ is different from Claude's 3.5 Sonnet. That's their premium model.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else on this?
I guess if you can show the DeepSeek, if I can, I think I can share my screen and
Yeah.
show it.
I'll stop sharing. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Now you can share the screen.
Let me just open the DeepSeek. Just a moment. Yeah. Okay, I'll share my. Yeah, you can see. This is essentially like ChatGPT. This you just create your account. There's no premium version, I think. Also, it has features like ChatGPT's search feature, and also I think this deep thing kind of similar to the O1. It will solve your reasoning problems pretty much. You can also upload files. It's pretty similar to GPT. I'm not sure of how well it emulates stuff, but yeah, this is how it is. So the UI is also pretty similar. So
Do you wanna type some queries? I'll probably
yeah. What do you want me to?
wait. So you guys type one query. In the meanwhile, I'll send you some queries.
Okay, okay.
So let's discuss the research problem that we were discussing, and put input there and see what result it gives you, or anything for that matter. What's the cost of DeepSeek? Oh, that's a good question. And they don't tell you what kind of language models they've included, right? It's like have they taken the DeepSeek is an AI company?
Yeah,
Oh, that's a nice
yeah.
one-liner.
Okay, okay.
Ask the graph instead. Can it construct a graph?
And this is telling me about OpenAI, but not really. Uh, okay, okay. It says estimated cost to a query is few cents to a dollar or more. Huh.
Yeah. Okay. And let's suppose you have all these answers, like ChatGPT does it get stored on the left wherein you can access these chats
Yeah, yeah.
afterwards?
Yep.
Right there,
It's
it's
visible.
right there.
The history is stored.
Yeah,
History is stored. And I'm assuming they'll also charge money for that, right? Eventually they'll store all this in a
Yep. Cloud.
settings. Yeah, okay. So is he the hedge fund person? Is he based in China or is he based in US?
he is in China.
He's
Let
in
me see.
China. Okay.
When, okay, I don't know. Analysis. Okay, this is someone else. Okay. Liang Wenfeng. Okay. So I was reading an article about him. Apparently, he used to uh, trade in his college with three other people, and that's how he founded the hedge fund, and he built this company with the same three people. That's an
Oh, okay.
interesting.
Okay. Very interesting.
I
So,
don't think he's as open as Sam Altman. Like he's not out there in public.
yeah, that's okay. But like, I mean, they've done something which is interesting. But can anybody test it? Like, who did the performance evaluation? They themselves did the performance evaluation. Some outside person has done it.
No, someone else has done it, not DeepSeek.
Okay. This is like huge, and the basic idea that everybody had is OpenAI is the only company out there which is giving something like this, as a result of which they are able to charge so much money. And if everybody else offers the same thing, even if they don't have to give it for free. If they give it for like $10 or even to $20 with the higher performance, that should be good enough.
And like GPT, this also they also have their own API that you can use. So that's also good.
Yeah. So I think what else did we learn? I mean, is there anything else on this, or we can go to some other topic?
I guess we can go to the next one.
Someone else just share the screen.
Yep. So the next topic would be the building agents. Okay, so AlphaFold. Uh, I guess Kiran would take this.
Yeah, so this is pretty interesting. So the first thing I want to highlight that this AlphaFold team got a Nobel Prize in chemistry. I think that's actually because of the breakthrough. So yeah. So the thing is, you can give your own sequence of proteins, I think, ligands, and also DNA sequences, and ask the AlphaFold server to kind of model how it looks. So yeah, I'll just show you the demo. I think that'll be easier.
Okay.
I'll just share my screen. Yeah. So this is the AlphaFold server. In case you guys can see my screen, right?
Okay.
So yeah, you add your entity. It can be a protein, DNA, RNA, ligand, or ion, and you just input the sequence. Uh, and this is a job that I did yesterday. So this will kind of give you a structure of how it looks.
So this is the 3D structure, and you're able to move it with a cursor, right?
Yeah, yeah, yep.
And what did you input? What kind of protein is this?
I found it on the net actually. I don't know if I can. Yeah, it's this one.
So this is a protein thing,
Yeah, this is
a
the
protein
sequence.
sequence. Okay, these are amino acids. Correct.
So this has been there for a while, AlphaFold, but the V3 and the AlphaFold servers is new. Other than that, they also have a database. So this will predict the structure, but the database, if you already have a sequence, you can just view it in the database. It works like that.
So basically, you can query this for free, right?
Yeah, it's free. You get, I think, 20 queries a day,
20
and
queries a
it
day.
refreshes every day, every 24 hours. So I used one of it.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. So got it. So it gives you structure. From that structure, what else can you? Are there anything else that you can?
I mean, I guess they also mentioned it'll kind of predict how it interacts with the protein or something on the lines of that, but I didn't get a chance to explore more in
Okay.
that.
So I
It
think
was completely
long
free.
story short is like there is DNA, RNA, protein. Protein is what gets you know expressed eventually, which leads to some sort of phenotypic changes overall. And about 10% of the overall proteins that exist exist in human body are known to people. So the rest of the 90%, the structures are sort of unknown. as a result of which they're trying to use these kinds of models to build label all these proteins, hoping that eventually they have every one of the protein structures. And the way the proteins fold, you can figure out whether if the protein doesn't fold properly, then the phenotype that gets expressed will have some sort of deformity. So that's the basic idea. Yeah, protein fold. We can probably explore this again. I didn't know you guys are doing protein fold. So if I had done that, there was an interesting company which I had shared in the group, which went bankrupt because somebody wrote a report about them, and they made some basic errors in terms of not protein specifically, but broadly in terms of measuring the effect of their drug. I would have given the formulation of that and probably tested it out. This is chemistry prize for 2024. It went to Baker is one guy, Hasabi is another guy, John Jumper is. These are the three scientists, and yeah, this is quite remarkable. And all this is done on transformer models, essentially. Right? Okay. So, are there anything else you guys want to add?
Yeah, so this is DeepMind's AlphaFold. Also, Meta has their own version. It's called ESM Fold. Unfortunately, they don't have a server like I just showed, but there's an API that you can use. I think I can share you that one as well. Uh, can you stop sharing? I'll just share my screen. I've got it on. Okay. Yeah, so this is AlphaFold server, and this is just an API and built a Streamlit around it. So this is the same sequence that I've put it in AlphaFold server. It's the same sequence, and I guess we can do kind of like a comparison. Yeah, so it's pretty much the same. I mean, I'm not sure, but I guess we can.
Okay, so through that API, you're getting a Streamlit interface.
No, the Streamlit interface, that's what I've done, but you get the API using which you can kind of get
So,
data and see.
it's their host only, or you hosted it locally?
No, this is hosted locally.
Okay, so you're
Correct.
getting the API from them and you're hosting it in your.
Yeah.
Okay. Same as like how we take the OpenAI.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same.
Okay.
Yeah, so like what I'm trying to say is there are other companies which are working on the same thing. Yeah,
But I think the question is, not every company is in the business of doing these kinds of things, right? What they would do is probably they'll use this structure and see if these structures are useful in their work, which is like they're doing drug discovery, they're trying to take a molecule to market. And in the course of doing that, if this is useful, they'll probably pay these guys and do something else. They'll not, there won't be competitors doing exactly the same thing because this requires huge infrastructure, and these people already have infrastructure. As a result of which, it's easier for them to enter into these fields. A small lab with four scientists won't immediately get into this business. Yeah, that's great. What else do we have?
Yeah, there are much more topics there. And the next one is building effective agents, the Anthropic. The Guna would take this up.
Yeah. So can you stop the
Yeah,
screen
yes,
share? What? Yeah.
there's an article about the agents of what you have shared in the like what we have explored in the morning session. There was a detailed explanation about this building effective agents of Anthropic.
So this is a company called Anthropic, and
Yeah.
Anthropic is behind Claude. Is that the case?
Yes,
I
sir.
think so. But
Yes.
yeah, Claude, right? It's right there
Yeah.
on the company. So Claude is their model, and
Yes.
they publish nice research reports regularly. And if you look at even a lot of eigenvalue stuff that I got some time back that I explained, all of it was from their website itself. So yeah, anybody wants to take it forward?
Yeah. So the Anthropic company has come up with a how we can build the effective agents. So this is purely depends on the problem that we have. So if the problem can be solved with a simplest workflow, then we could then the creation of agent is not required unless the problem statement is so complex. So here the work systems are the LLMs and tools are orchestrated through predefined code parts. Like the subtasks are already defined, like what has to be done and when and the that particular what when it has to be done. And the agents on the other hand, they are dynamic, like they can have their own processes and their own tool usage according to the problem that they are given. So these have control over the how they accomplish tasks. So in this particular thing we have a difference between
So
when and
if I understand it right, so workflow means it's a recipe and you have a sequence of steps to
yes sir.
follow
Yes
and
sir.
they follow and you do the task. Agents decide the steps. Is that the
Yes.
difference between workflow and agent?
Yes
Okay.
sir. That's the difference between the
Yeah.
workforce and the. So here, when and when not to use agents, this particular thing is very interesting for me, because here they have mentioned very clearly that if this particular statement means, like, this might mean not building agentic systems at all. Like if the particular way basically they recommend finding the simplest solution possible first and only increasing the complexity when it is required. So this particular agenting systems often trade latency and cost for better task performance when the for the particular task to be solved, the cost can be and the cost and time can be optimal through if through the that can, through if it's solved as easily. And here, when the more complexity is warranted, workflows offer predictability and consistency for well-defined tasks. So these particular agents are the better option when flexibility and model-driven decision making is needed at the scale. So here we have few frameworks like LangGraph from LangChain and Amazon's AI agent framework, Revert, a drag and drop GUI LLM workflow builder. And here this particular frameworks, they suggest that developers start by using LLM APIs directly, so that they can be implemented with a few lines of code without developing the whole workflow again. So here we have few types of LLMs. So here the first one would be the augmented LLM. Here the augmented LLM has three augmentations. One will be the retrieval, and the another will be the tools, and the third one will be the memory. So here in the retrieval, we have we have a query, and the results will be query will be sent to the particular retrieval augmentation, and the results will be retrieved from this retrieval augmentation. And here the tools in the sense the which tool has to be used for that particular task, and this particular happens to actions call or response. And in the memory the tool for which particular tool has to be used for which particular query, that will be saved. And this is one type of augmented LLM. And here we have prompt chaining. So this N is called the input. So here the LLM call one. So basically the task will be divided into subtasks, and each subtask will be evaluated at this particular gate, like whether the output is correctly generated or not. And if the output is correctly generated according to the context of the input, then it will be shift to the LLM call to, or otherwise it will be shift to the this particular exit, and the generation will be failed. And when to use this workflow would be when the task can be easily and cleanly decomposed into fixed subtasks. And here the main goal is to trade off latency for the higher accuracy. So by making each LLM call an easier task. Here the next workflow would be the routing. So this particular router will assign the LLM calls would be the task specific. So each LLM call will you know uh, the router will send the task which would be more suitable for a certain LLM code. So this would be particularly solved by a certain model which could solve the task with the optimal price and the optimal price and the optimal time. And later this will all be aggregated and given as an output. And the another workflow would be parallelization. So here the tasks will be broken into subtasks, and all tasks will be parallelly they get
Executed.
solved, yeah, executed.
Parallelly.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then the aggregator will aggregate all the outputs and give a one output. So in this particular thing we have two things, so sectioning and voting. So the sectioning would be the user queries. The In the sectioning we basically has uh,
But until now, let's discuss a bit on this. So until
okay.
now, what I've understood, Kiran, you can pitch in, and Varun, you can probably pitch in. Or Madhura, who has joined, they can also pitch in. So the idea here is, up until now, we had like a scenario wherein you query the LLM model once with a bunch of prompts, and the query goes one time. Or if you, in all the other tools that we have been using, there is sequential query of the database. Now, if you can program those sequential queries as part of a routine, is what we are understanding here. Rather than having one prompt being sent to the LLM engine, we receive the answer, and then from that generate another prompt. The answer of the first prompt becomes the prompt for the second
Yeah,
query of the LLM engine, and that repeats. So it's sort of like an auto-regressive tool, right?
yeah,
It's like
exactly.
a function. The answer of the function is the input for the next function, and the answer of the second function is the input for the third function.
Third
So they
function.
have figured out a way to serialize queries to LLM engines and generate output, is broadly what I understand. Then you can do serialize, then you can do parallelize. Broadly, that's what I understand. Kiran, is that a fair assessment?
Yeah.
Yes.
So in this
Yeah.
orchestrator workers thing, here the orchestrator will decide the which tool to be used for that particular task, and then it will be dividing the tasks with the tools assigned, and the synthesizer will synthesize all the outputs and gives the output in a single as a single output. So this particular workflow would be useful when the in coding, like a number of files that need to be changed, and the nature of the change in each file it basically depends on that particular task. And for the for the coding task, this particular workflow will be mainly used. And this evaluator optimizer is another interesting thing. It's pretty much similar to GANs. So there will be a generator and an evaluator. So the prompt, which is the the solution for that particular task which is generated, will be evaluated by the evaluator. And if it's rejected, it will send back to the generator for the regeneration. And if it's accepted, then the evaluator will produce the output. So like in GAN, we have generator and discriminator. The generator will generate the image, and the discriminator uh, will compare that particular image with the original image, and then provides the feedback to the generator, and then it can be regenerated for the further evaluation. And here comes the agents, the main thing. So here the agents have an environment with all the tools and all the files that particular task requires. So this involves the human also. So the human first asks the agent for a certain task to evaluate it. The action will be evaluated in the particular environment, and the feedback will be provided through that LLM call, and it will stop if there is no need for the agent to produce an output to the human, or else it will produce the solution to the human if it is required. And when to use your agents would be, as I told, if the problem is more complex, and that particular level of complexity and the automation leads, and if it is needed, then we will use the agents. And this particular is the whole high level flow of that particular agent, how it's worked and how it's executed. First, the human will be providing the query to the particular interface where the agent works, and provides a solution. So here the between the human and the LLM, the clarification and the refining of the query will be done. And through this interface, the context will be sent to the LLM, and it will search files if it is needed, return paths, and write code according to the task, and check the status and test it whether it is working or not, provide the results, and repeat the whole process if it is required. And this particular will be completed, and provides the display to the human. So this is all about the agents and workflows.
So I think I've shared in the chat the first agent paper that came along, And people use that. And this was, let's say, a year, probably, let's say, close to a year ago, where they came up with this paper, and all the additional breakthrough that has happened afterwards. But broadly, it's a way by which we can incorporate all the let's say all the agents with their specific domains, and then you query LLMs specifically for those things. It's like, is it any way different than is it any way different than querying multiple times? If you manually query multiple times, it's exactly what that is, right? Or
Yes.
let's say if the task is real time, you need the answer in real time scenario, you might want the latency to be as small as possible. That's where this can probably help. Meaning, like, you're not worried. In usual scenarios, all the answers that you require are not time sensitive, wherein like you can wait and prompt again. In scenarios wherein you cannot wait, and answer of one LLM leads is a prompt for another LLM, those kinds of scenarios wherein you have to optimize for latency, you can probably use agents broadly.
Yeah, that's true.
Is that a
So,
fair
So
assessment? Yeah, good.
like you mentioned, it is similar to like requerying. So you're telling that this will be a faster one, or like it'll lead to a better result. Like,
Nothing, no, I think this is basically customizing your regular workflow with LLMs
okay,
and adding queries at each layer. In nowhere it says that it has better answers than, let's say, the broader language models. It doesn't say that anywhere from what I can read. What it says is,
uh, I
go ahead.
think this has some results. I think if you go down below, it says there's the SWE benchmark. I think we can pull that up, and that might have some results.
this one.
Okay, no, there's none. It's just an
Bench.
article.
I don't think they are benchmarks, but okay, might be the case. It's been
Okay, it says it achieved 49%. Okay, this is for the cloud 3.5, not for the. Okay.
so.
And
Let's look at the summary that they've done. What do they summarize this as?
so basically, before solving any task or anything, they're asking us to build a draft version of the solution, and then later on add complexity if the task demands. So whatever what they are asking us to follow three core principles. One would be maintaining simplicity in the particular agent's design so that we can understand what to add and what not to add, and prioritizing the transparency by showing the agent's planning steps, each step, and the ACI, the agent computer interface also should be documented and tested very thoroughly before we use that particular agent to solve a particular task.
Okay,
And this particular video would be more useful to understand this particular article. And we
let's
also
play
have
it.
yes.
This is a must-read blog post on the
So
topic.
he simply explains the whole what I have done up until now. He simply explains the whole article, but along with that, he also explains how it's worked, the code version of this particular thing. So as basically, these Anthropic people have written code without using any libraries and anything. They have just I will show you the code just a minute.
Of how you can implement these workflows in your own setup. And if you want to run them, you will just need to clone them over system.
So this is the
Just a
basic.
second. We figured out the audio thing, right? Wherein like we can play any video and that gets recorded. Now I can easily hear the audio.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, you can play
Of
it.
chaining, parallelization, and routing.
So in this particular, they have three functions: the chain prompt chain
Prompt chaining.
one, the parallelization one, and the routing one. So in these functions, it is clearly declared what has to be done in the each workflow. And along with this, they also have examples like Here they have given one example how this chain workflow works, and by using that particular chain function above that they have declared, and this is the output text. To understand this more, you can just go through the codes of this IBONB files and run for yourself, know the all the workflows, basic workflows. And this particular thing is the evaluator optimizes .ipynb file, the thing which is similar to the generalized adversarial networks, where we have generator and a discriminator. And this orchestrator workers is something which is similar to agent, like the orchestrator decides what tool has to be used for what task and all things, and in which environment this particular task has to be executed. And then the synthesizer will synthesize all the outputs provided by each LLM worker, and then the task will be executed. Yeah. So
Yeah,
that's what.
can we go to the basic workflow?
Yeah,
The
sure.
first one that you showed.
Yeah.
Uh, in this, can you scroll down? What are they doing? I mean, have they commented as to what they're doing? I understand that they're doing parallelization routing. Can you go up?
Yeah.
No, 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 to the top.
Okay.
Decompose the task. But they haven't, I mean, what does it do at the end of it? Do they show it in the video?
No, sir. They don't even show it in the video. He just explained what happens in the this particular code, like the logic of this particular each function, like how each prompt in the particular has to be chained and executed, and the result will be printed accordingly. So this LLM call is the main, which act as an in this video. If we see in this article, if we see this LLM call will execute the particular subtask that it has assigned. So yeah, but I haven't gone through the examples and all in the complete
And
code.
this video was released only today?
No, sir, it has released. Yeah, yes, sir, it has released yesterday only.
Oh, yesterday. Oh, okay. So this is pretty fresh.
Yeah, it's
Prompt
pretty.
engineering. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that seems interesting. Hey, do you guys have any comments, questions? How can we use it? Any use cases?
Basically, I have given some processing steps here, and then it prints the report of that particular question that has asked here. So this is being done with the prompt chaining, and this is being done with using the parallelization, and this is being done by using the routing thing. So the
Okay.
most interesting part of these three workflows would be routing, because it knows what LLM call could execute what task, and so that for some tasks it's needed they are needed to be executed differently in their own environments with their own respective tools which could be executed.
Okay. Okay, we can, if we have other topics, we can probably go for
Yeah,
those.
sure.
If we need
Yeah.
something, we can probably come back afterwards. Yeah.
I think agents, like a lot of companies now are switching to agents rather than like chatbots uh, for customer service and all of that. And
Is
that's
there a,
something.
while you guys take a look at this, is there a better demonstration of this with a specific use case? Meaning like, try this agent model in finance, or try this agent model in customer service, that the true examples that he gave. But if there is some data set that you can plug in and explain end to end, and if there is already a video of that somewhere, that would be great. Probably we can test it out next week for something
Yeah,
like this.
I'll be working on that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Are there other topics?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so
going back to the other topics, the next one we have is the NVIDIA's acquisition of RunAI, and that Kiran would take it.
Yeah. So this is something that happened this year that's quite interesting. NVIDIA acquired this company for 700 million. So what this company basically does is it processes AI workloads on GPUs. So it ensures multiple tasks can share GPUs efficiently. So I think what NVIDIA is trying to do is like improve their GPU efficiency for like cloud and enterprises. So this is one of those interesting things that happened this year. think that's about it. I think we can move on to
Yeah,
the
and I think this is a software company. Even though
yeah.
people say NVIDIA is a hardware company, what they essentially do is they translate, let's say, C++ code to a higher level version of Python code. They're still, I mean, they do it on different hardware, but they themselves don't manufacture any of the hardware. They take it from a company like TSMC, and then they customize it for a very specific task and give these big uh, H100 kind of machines and they sell them. But
Yep.
they're still a software dominant company. And I think this is like an automation tool that runs things on clouds. I don't know how it will help them because, like, I'm assuming uh, Google, Microsoft, Facebook, or Meta, all of them use NVIDIA. They buy NVIDIA GPUs, and these people are improving their GPU performance. So I don't know how it will immediately. I'm assuming it will improve their cost structure, wherein they can do things better with lower cost. But seems like an interesting acquisition to take a look at.
I guess we can
Yes.
move on to it.
Yeah. So the next one is the Jetson Orin Nanos, the super version released
This
like
yeah.
yeah.
So
So it
this is
was
like
released from the previous version of the Orin Nano, where the previous version, like this works basically with the help of an SSD or memory card, like the SD card which we use it in our previous old mobile devices and all. So this is basically used to deploy our real-time projects, like in any industrial automations or any AI models to deploy on. So this is from the previous version. The clock speed of this has improved of about 50%, and the GP and the memory and the memory of this is of 8 GB. And the other thing is its CPU from the previous version to this one has improved from 635 megahertz to the clock speed of its CPU is increased from 635 megahertz to 1020 megahertz. That is 60% faster from the previous Orin version. And the
And
GPU
these
clock,
Jetson Nanos were used in robotics mostly. I think if I understand it right, they were used in autonomous
yeah.
small vehicles. Yeah, go on.
So to correct it here, we have a different version. The one which you're talking is about the normal Jetson Nano board. And this is the little bit higher version that we call it as Orin,
Okay.
Jetson Orin. And this is the new version that is Super, which is released 2 weeks ago by NVIDIA, where we can, in this model, from the previous model to this model, we can deploy LLM models on this. Like the huge LLM models can be deployed onto this Super version because of its GPU clock speed that has been increased for 60% from the previous version.
When they
You could
say
see
it,
here.
you can buy it at $249, what are they
Yes.
giving? They're giving this chip which
Yes.
has a GPU attached to it, right?
Yes.
And we
This
can
is
run
the
any, yeah,
yeah,
go
we
ahead.
can run any AI models.
yeah,
Can
only
run AI
lightweight
models on it.
models. Yeah. Like a
Yeah.
lightweight one, not like a really heavy one. Like yeah.
But the only disadvantage for this Orin models is the SD cards. Like the SD cards get corrupted easily when we deploy and try to run it because of heating issues and all, like the environmental issues and all. The SD cards get corrupted easily. So while like in my previous experience and all, we used to carry like 4 to 5 SD cards while deploying a real-time project, like in an industry.
So
We
the,
Can
don't.
the
you?
only use case for something like this is the cost of querying, let's say making an API call is
Mhm.
higher than, let's say querying something locally, wherein
Mhm.
you're not sending any query to the cloud
Yes.
and getting a request back. That latency is long enough and it's costly. You want to process something locally, then you use something like this. And
Exactly.
what it does training and inference, or it does
No,
both?
we train it on like the GPUs, like the bigger GPUs, and we deploy onto these models. Like we have an operating system on the SD card, and then on the SD card, we deploy our AI models onto it. This is how
So
it
you
goes. Like,
you you train the weights, you get the weights, you deploy the
yep,
weights on this one,
exactly,
and we don't update the weights or anything like that, but it will run, and so it's basically doing inference, not doing training here.
exactly. So
Okay.
this has heating issue a bit of. So for that, we use GStreamer. We call GStreamer, where we install GStreamer onto this to avoid that heating issue, and we can get the efficiency at faster rate.
So what is this G streamer? This is pretty
Yeah,
new for me. So yeah, can you tell me
yeah.
what this G
So
streamer is?
GStreamer and the other one is DeepStream. So according to like what in my previous experience, where I had been to deploy a project where we should get the frames from four different cameras. So our normal systems can't handle it until like if there is no GStreamer or DeepStream. So what this DeepStream is does this all the four frame like from all the four cameras, there won't be a frame latency. If this deep stream or GStreamer is not there, there will be definitely frame latency, and the inferences will be not proper. The inferencing won't be proper. Suppose if we want to detect uh, a bottle from four different cameras, the camera feed is perfect in the camera, like in their end. But when it comes to the system without deep stream, there will be latency. So the frames will be missed and the detections or the interactions won't happen properly. What that deep stream is it streamlines the entire latency, and it removes all the latency and makes faster the model runs.
So if I understand it right, let's take four CCTV cameras of one location, and
Hmm.
it's able to capture the same thing. Now you want to process all four and figure out which CCTV camera footage to be shown at. Like for example, like we have five footages right now, and it is able to dynamically select based on the voice, right? So I think it's doing some version of that. Like that's one use case that I thought of. Like you have a storefront and you're selling something as a retail store. You have four CCTV cameras and you want to process all four images at once to figure out what is happening. So there's one person, but there are four different camera angles,
Correct.
and you want to process all four camera angles to decide whether the person is a threat or a normal, so somebody is stealing or
Exactly.
not stealing. And then I think you can probably do that. But are there any use cases that you guys can think of where this is useful?
Where this is useful is like in the
I mean, all use cases would be
any
something like this, wherein like you have four
yeah
different,
yeah.
let's say, vision problem. I can't recall any use case wherein you're not.
So I should give the use case which I wanted to give is uh, I'll not mention the company name. We were working with an industry to rectify the parts after it's built from all different angles. An object is built, part is built, and we have to see whether this part is built properly, the alignments, everything is going perfectly or not. So we used to get the feed from all 4 to 5 cameras with the help of this Jetson Orin, the previous version, not the super version, with the previous version, and then we used to, you know, take do the quality assurance test run with that.
Yeah, this sounds interesting. Are there other? This is about it in terms of what we had in 24. Oh, okay.
We have two more topics left apart from that Jetson Oro. This is VEO2. This is on video generation. Like from the in the previous weeks, we have discussed about Sora, the video generation tool. This is this is way faster than that in terms of quality and the time. For the Sora, we used to get only for the 20 seconds, but this one gives us for 2 minutes. If you see here, the resolution of OpenAI Sora and Google PEO2 we have is 4K, and Sora offers only 1080p at max. This we can go up to 4K, and the duration of video is 2+ minutes, where here it is 20, and input methods are pretty similar for both of them. The output formats are also pretty similar. And the current limitations are this Google VO2 is on waitlist. I have requested for the access, but I still didn't get that. But this GPT Plus is like the OpenAI Sora is GPT Plus, the premium version of OpenAI is required to access this.
And
And
another query on this usually is whenever somebody shows me video, I think that we discussed it last time too. We cannot put our own video. We generate the video from the prompt. We modify the prompt to take the video apart. We cannot put our own video, combine it with the
No, sir.
prompt video. You cannot do that, right?
No, sir. No, sir.
no,
Yeah.
this is
Okay.
a generated video. Oh, so I'll just play this video up.
Okay.
This is a VO2 version. I guess the audio is visible, audible.
We can't hear
And
the
this is
audio. You guys can hear the audio?
no, no,
No.
sir. Actually, I guess the audio is not required for this. Are you showing the
audio is
comparison
not
of the?
required actually.
Yeah. You can just go ahead.
Yeah,
It looks more
Wait,
realistic than
all
the other.
this is generated by
this is
the.
this is pretty realistic. I couldn't
Uh,
even compare it with the Sora. Like
Yeah.
this is
hmm.
way realistic than the Sora one actually.
Sora,
Okay.
you kind of get to know that it's not real. Like this looks pretty real.
Okay.
This is of the VEO to the newer version has been done by the Google.
Got it. Got it.
Yep.
And when did they release this? VO2?
Recently, I guess around 2 weeks ago.
Okay. So it says
And
they can do synthetic ID watermarking. So what that means is they can, copyright
yeah,
the content, I guess,
exactly.
so that like other people cannot use it, or if other people use it, they have to take permission from the original creator.
Exactly. And
Okay.
the other one which the same Google released is the Imagen. Just a second. This is the Imagen 3 text to image model. The same Google has released this with the you know which much better than the other versions. When I compared with DALI 2 and 3, Midjourney is actually better for image generation, but Imagen 3 model like this version has bet the Midjourney also this time. It's a cutting edge AI that creates photorealistic images. If you see in this Imagen 3 and Midjourney, they both seem pretty similar, but Imagen 3 has bet the Midjourney also. And the architecture for this Imagen 3, it is using latent diffusion model. That's the reason it is working pretty better than the other models. And DALI is a transformer but for the Midjourney, we just know it as diffusion model, but they haven't released it for the public. It is not publicly available, and we can't just claim which is a model that is released actually.
Okay.
And yeah, this is the comparison. Just a second.
So
Yeah,
DALI
com
is which company? Midjourney is another company, or which one is OpenAI in this? DALI is OpenAI,
Dali is OpenAI.
DALI is OpenAI.
and
Midjourney
the
Meta.
other two, Midjourney is Meta. Imagen
Yeah,
is some other
Google,
company.
Google.
Oh, that's Google, is it? Okay.
Yeah, Google. And I have even tried this. This is available on the Gemini advanced version actually. But as of now, it's available for open source. I
And what
can
does this
show.
graph show?
This graph shows the evaluation, like the performance of different models compared with Imagen 3 version.
And what are these scores? Like
This is the
thousand.
human rating.
Oh, human rating. Okay. So
Human
it's a
ratings.
subjective rating of human beings based on their perception of how good the
E-
video is.
Exactly. That's the thing. So if we start from the Imagen 2, this has the previous version also, and Imagen 3 also has two versions, 1 and 2. This one, which we are saying, is the second version. If you see here, Imagen 2 has bet with 1115 as compared to the Imagen 3 one version of 1053, and Imagen 2 with 889, and the Midjourney version 6, the latest version, is of 982, and DALI 3 version is 997. So when we compare these models with Imagen 3 is at the top in the human interaction. And
Yeah, good, good.
I'll just play a video. I'll do one thing better than the video. I'll just show the demo of this actually.
Sure.
Yeah. I'll share my screen. I guess the screen is visible, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna ask it to.
I mean, right off the bat, this looks more realistic than
Yeah,
Dali or something like that.
Yeah,
It looks like someone clicked a photo rather than
yeah,
AI
that's
zoomed in.
yeah. This is the other one.
Hmm. Oh, okay.
It's if you see here, it's creating with Imagen 3. It says,
Got it.
and see, it's more
Um,
realistic when as compared with DALI and other models.
okay. This is good. This is interesting. Are there like is there any tool that allows you free access to generate video that you guys have tested? Like you give a prompt and it gives you a video. That's not available, right?
Yeah,
No,
that's not free.
It's not free.
it's yeah. If it's free, there are many social media influencers. They
Yeah.
create mess with that.
But even if it costs money, is there anything for $20 that we can
Yeah,
use?
you get Sora with
Sora, yeah.
GPT Plus. That's for $20. I haven't tried it out yet, but yeah.
Yeah, okay, okay. But I think
Sora is
so,
only the model that is available for everyone at the lesser price.
Yeah.
got it. Like, I mean, if we have come to an end of all the topics, I have like a general question. What was your, have we finished all the topics for the week?
There's
no, sir.
one topic
Actually,
left.
there's one
Oh,
topic
okay,
left, the Boltzmann model. So it's a protein ligand interaction prediction of the model.
cool.
So we just
This is the last topic for the day.
Okay.
can you go to the next slide, Varun?
Yep. Uh, yeah.
So this is the Boltzmann model, which is recently, like a few months back, MIT Gemel Clinic has, announced that they had this model for the prediction of the biomolecular structures, which has protein folding, protein ligand, like the protein ligand interactions for the drug discovery. So basically, this particular model specializes in protein ligand interactions. So how well the protein is responding for a molecule, for a submolecule, which is a part of that particular drug. And here is the performance and comparison for that particular Boltzmann with AlphaFold 3. So basically, AlphaFold 3, its primary focus on the protein folding thing, whereas the Boltzmann primary focus is to predict the protein ligand interactions. So it achieved the AlphaFold 3 accuracy in terms of predicting the protein folding. But unlike AlphaFold 3, this Bolge is fully available for the commercial usage. Like it's a complete open source model which could be used by anyone to predict this protein foldings and the protein ligand interactions. But AlphaFold 3 is also open source, but it is open source for the restricted purposes only.
Yeah.
And the Boltzmann versus Chai1 is also a model which does these things like predicting the protein foldings and the protein ligand interactions. So if you could see here, we have graphs. So the CASP 15 is the critical assessment of structure prediction. So as of now, the 15 versions of it has done, and the last version has been done in 2022. And this is the particular benchmark, the comparison between the Chai1 and the Boltzmann. So here the median LDDTT is something which compares the distance between atoms in the predicted folding and the actual folding. So how near the atoms are in the predicted folding when it's compared to the original ground truth of that particular protein model. So here, if we could see, the chai one has the more LDDT than the Bowles one, and the medium T. So basically, that is the median of of the particular all sequences and the particular predictions that has been done by the chai one and the Bowles one. So here, dock Q is something, the docking between the protein and the submolecule. So the less the dog, the more this particular percentage, the well the docking has done. And here this is the RMSD, it means root mean square deviation. So how deviated the atoms are, this particular metric will say about how deviated the atoms are. So the less the RMSD, the better the deviation in the particular predicted model of that particular protein. So yeah, that's all about the.
Yeah, so the RMSE being low means the predicted model to the empirical model. The predicted is the empirical model, right? So the pre
Yeah.
when you have the actual notional model that you have thought of, it
Okay.
gives you the distance between the two. The lower the distance, higher is the
The
prediction.
higher, yes.
Okay, okay. So this is good. So I wanted to ask each one of you, in terms of how do you see, given all the focus on AI, by not just like AI professionals, even people who are software engineers look at AI as a tool to automate all their individual tasks. How do you see this landscape changing going forward? Are there any predictions? Looking at the entire changes that happen in 2024. So do you guys want to chime in as to how things will go based on how they are? Each one of you can take a shot.
Yeah, I think these entry-level jobs, be it in any field, I think those will get sort of eliminated unless that job really needs a human to be present. For example, this is already happening. I mean, a lot of these real estate companies or even any customer service-based companies, they're replacing all the customer service executives with these AI agents. They just train it on their data, and it works pretty well. It's not like it doesn't work. I mean, I think that is better. I mean, there's a low latency. If you look at it, it's harder to chat with a customer service executive since he has to be free. But when they include all of these AI agents, it's easier. And also, I'm pretty sure it's cheaper than hiring an actual person. And in terms of software jobs, I'm not too sure that will happen very soon, but yeah, that too is I think is going to take a hit.
So if a question is something like this, there's a 25-year-old who hasn't coded ever, who comes and asks you, should I learn coding or should I just buy subscription for OpenAI? So what will you say?
I mean,
By
I think
subscription.
this NVIDIA CEO had a full talk
Yeah,
on
yeah,
that
yeah.
one. Why it is
Exactly.
redundant to learn coding, and it's better to use these tools and to do coding,
Yeah,
right?
I think his point of view is biased because he just wants to sell more of his stuff, right? So obviously he'll say, "Don't learn anything, just buy my product." But
I mean, yeah,
from your objective view, what do you really think? Like it won't
I think
automate.
yeah,
Yeah.
you
Uh,
need to learn coding, but right now how
so,
the tools you have, you don't have to code the entire thing by yourself. I think you can get a pretty good base from AI and try to build up on that. I mean,
but uh,
personally, I think that's what a lot of people are doing. I mean, I've seen not only for software development, even for like data science, no one really writes the code from scratch. They ask GPT or something else to do it, and they just build up on that.
Yeah, who
but
wants to,
yeah.
overview of 24 and that question, what will a 25-year-old? See, I specifically said 25-year-old and not an 18-year-old. The next question is, what will an 18-year-old do? So, but then why don't you answer the first question? Like, what's the landscape of 2024? What did it teach you? And then what will you instruct a 25-year-old who hasn't coded before?
So yeah, the 2024 what it has, when I worked in the automation part, Yes, it is. The AI is replacing the human work, like the human intervention. Where one particular project which I worked was with the gate teeth matching. For that's a really big company which I work with. We should match the teeth and get the quality assurance test of it done, whether it's working perfectly or not, whether it's matching perfectly or not. Before that was done by the humans, but now we have replaced that with the entire setup with AI, with the detection models and all. So that was where that when I had a thought that yes, the AI has started replacing the humans. But when it comes to the exact logics that we want to write or that we want to apply them, the AI might not. I'd say it has 50-50 percentage because the AI is something like it's trained on billions of data, but the logic which we want to apply is not correctly being applied to it until and unless prompt is given properly to the model, the language model. If the prompt is precise and sharp and in detail, it's giving perfectly. If not, it's not. So, when a 25-year-old person comes and when he want to learn coding and all, I'd say yes to learning coding is pretty better, but using of AI model to learn the coding is good than directly using AI models. Because
So
if
you
you
have
want,
like a $20 budget and you $25 a month budget. You can either buy Lead Code Premium or buy OpenAI Premium, whatever, OpenAI Plus. So you only have slot for one. Which one will you buy?
I'd go with
Definitely.
the lead code one.
Lead Code one. Well,
Definitely with the lead
what's
code
the
one.
reasoning?
The reasoning would be I'm pretty sure the AI won't do the logics properly.
You're pretty sure.
We have encountered that for the projects.
So after doing an hour of like research on AI, but what you're basically saying is to be serious. So it won't do the precise operation. So if you want to learn the
Yeah,
precise operation, you need to know the nuts and bolts of how you provide logic, and you can learn it better with lead code as opposed to directly doing OpenAI with no understanding of programming. That's what he's saying. So yeah, Gunawardhan, you wanna?
So to summarize what's been happening in the field of AI in this year 2024, everything has went so fast. Like the position of AI in the last December and this December, the changes like drastic and very scary to be precise. So yeah, I want to emphasize on the software jobs that we would be losing and giving that particular job to AI because at this point of time, it is not, yeah, as Varun said, it is not in a position to create a own logic and satisfying our particular business logic. Yeah, it might not do, but with a proper prompt and everything, I have personally experienced this with the Perplexity. It has given me a good, the generation of the code is like very good when it's compared to ChatGPT and all, because this particular Perplexity is a hub for multiple models, and we can select the model, and for each model the prompt is for each model the response is changing. So that's what I have observed. And to answer a 25-year-old that question, I would
25-year-old
say
who hasn't coded,
25-year-old, so I didn't get you.
who hasn't coded before.
Who hasn't coded before? Yeah. It would be better if we go for the ChatGPT premium version, like if we, but because he hasn't coded yet, and the 25 the age number is very big. Like at this 25 has to be settled and
He's
everything.
too old, too
Yeah,
old to
he's
learn
too
coding.
old to learn code. That's what I believe.
Okay.
So, but or if for the 18-year-old one, I guess he better buy the lead code premium instead of the ChatGPT 4 because he
And
has
what's the
time.
logic for that?
He has time and he could learn the coding from scratch. It depends on, it also depends on the interest of that particular person, isn't it? So if he is interested in building the code with his own hands from and with his own logic, that would be better because he has the overall clarity on what he is doing. Because if he asks AI, he would just blindly go for AI response, and he would not check the response, and he just blindly believes AI and puts that there. But he wouldn't know if something goes wrong with that particular code, if some bug has, if there's a bug in that particular code, he wouldn't know. So it's better for him to learn the code rather than buying the ChatGPT for it at the age of 18.
So what he's trying to say is that I guess if you're coding, you need to be really good at it. You can't be
Yeah,
mediocre. I think I
exactly.
think what I feel, I don't know if it's controversial, but uh, I think if you are mediocre at coding, it's better not to code. I
Yep.
mean, that's
Okay.
what I feel.
Yeah.
So if somebody is mediocre at coding, better not to code.
Yeah, because if you are mediocre, it's just as good as using GPT to code for you.
Yeah.
You're gonna get replaced.
So
No one's gonna put their effort or money on you and expect you to improve. They'll just say, "This is easier for me. I'll just use this
But
AI
but
model or something like that."
uh, but
and
to
also
add on, many companies are trying to get the prompt engineers than the coders actually these days.
Yeah, that's what
these
that's what.
days, yeah.
Yeah,
This is a
is
pretty
that,
good
see,
thing.
I've heard this prompt. I can ask Madhura to probably, she can come up with, since she has come, she can probably come up with some answer and answer the same query. In the meanwhile, while she thinks of the answer, like I've heard this prompt engineering thing before. We'll just wrap it up after this. Like, is it true? Like, are there real prompt engineers that are
Yes,
getting
sir.
hired?
It has a lot of demand in this current era, more than software engineers to be precise.
No, not necessarily. I think software engineers have it as a skill. Like
Yeah.
they take it as a skill. There's not like a proper job. Like they hire you as a prompt engineer. I think that's there, but that's still pretty rare. I think the company sort of expect you to have this skill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, prompt, see, I've heard the prompt engineering in some fictional anecdotes. Okay. Show me how many prompt engineering roles have been advertised by big companies. That is not there. I mean, nobody is
Yeah.
advertising prompt engineer and paying $150,000 doing prompt engineering, right? That's not the
Yeah.
case. If you have it, it's good to know. Madhura, you want to just chime in on any of the answers?
Yes, actually, because of AI, like everyone is more focused towards AI technology and the courses. So I think the job roles related to that has been increased. As we discussed, like related to prompt also. Uh, it is like there are job roles, but they have high pay and they need experienced people. They'll not hire the fresher ones. We feel like so we need to be skilled in that to get hired to that job role. And more than software, this is a specialized field, so we need a lot of experience and a focus center where job roles for software are more, I feel, because there are various languages like front end, back end, so many people can get into it easily rather than a specific concentrated field like prompt engineering.
Got it. Got it. Well, so thanks a ton for all of you for joining this, and hopefully we will release this as soon as possible, and you can check this on YouTube. And if you have any queries, you can leave it in the comment section, or you can join on our mailing list and be part of this Zoom link that we send out. And the mandate of this call that we have on Thursdays is to cover the news of the week, so to speak. Like, not everybody gets to be on the cutting edge of what's happening in the field. So for an outsiders, this for from an outsider point of view, this is a good place to check out the news of the week, so to speak, so that you can take advantage of all the technologies that are out there. Thanks a ton for spending the time and watching this, and hopefully we can see you next week. Take care.